somebody says to me that a guy, he is speaking German and he is a Muslim, he says Islam is all about love. My friend, I mean, is that a question to answer? I mean, how foolish we are to the point we believe such a statement. If a Muslim, he says Islam is about love, I mean, who is the donkey here? The one who said it or the one who believe it? Don't you see the news? Don't you watch videos? Don't you watch Muslims speaking about killing the infidels? And yet you say to me, a Muslim, he says Islam is all about love. Okay, believe him then. If all what happened in the world is not enough for you to prove that he is a liar, then you just go. I mean, what's wrong with the mind of a human being? So what if somebody says Islam is about love? I mean, who is the donkey here? He or the one who listen? Do you understand me? People, they can say whatever they want.
Fire your hand in your rage. Fire your hand in your rage. Fire your hand in your rage.
If everybody says something in the internet, then we have to refute him. I mean, this is the most stupid thing. That's it. We just showed you in the screen. You know, we have thousands of videos showing you. And ISIS, they help us. Al-Qaeda, they are the true Muslims. Muhammad, he said, I've been ordered to kill all mankind. So, okay, Islam is about love. I mean, sometimes people are like kids. This guy, CP, this guy, he said Islam about love. Okay, and love him. Let him give you a hug. Go to Saudi Arabia and say, I don't believe in Allah. Let us see how much love will be. As long as Islam is about love. Why somebody go to the embassy to get a paper for marriage, they chop him pieces? That's too much love. Why in Saudi Arabia, Emirat, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, etc., they have an apostasy law and the punishment is death? Love, here we go. The guy, he don't love him. He don't want to be a Muslim. What love? The guy, he don't want to be like us. He want to be a gay. What we will do, we will throw him from the top of the... Okay, so either you say to me you are a liar, or you are saying to me I am stupid.
My question is Islam a sexist religion because women seems to get more privileges over men? Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear a question. Islam is a... Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear a question. Islam is a... Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear a question. Islam is a...
Islam is all about love. Why if somebody, he says that I want to preach the gospel, we arrest him and we kill him? But Islam is about love. Why it's forbidden for somebody to celebrate the Christmas in Saudi Arabia, and if we do so, he will face death penalty? Islam is about love. What is missing to say to me that Santa Claus is a Muslim? And not only that, maybe Valentine himself, Saint Valentine as they call him, he himself is a Muslim. What love? They forbid even people celebrate. You know, go and search right now about Saint Valentine. Are we allowed, brother, to celebrate Saint Valentine, brother?
Today or tonight is the 14th of Feb, and the first question that we have for today is from Abdul Rahman. She says, what's the ruling on celebrating Valentine's Day? Celebrating Valentine's Day, whether by giving gifts or receiving them, or selling red roses, or wearing red clothes, or sending postcards, all of this is totally prohibited in Islam. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu salam, whoever imitates a people, he is considered to be among them, with them, from them.
But Islam is about love. Okay, Islam is about love, but why we cannot celebrate love? Either you decide to be a child, whoever people says to you, you believe in it, or you decide to be stupid, or you use your brain. You do not need a Christian Prince, my friend. Look at those videos.
What is also interesting for us to remember is that after January, in February, that somewhere around the middle of February, there was a celebration. There was no Valentine's Day. You have to step out of that completely.
The real meaning of Valentine's Day. I mean, they made Valentine's Day the day of the devil. All of this, Islam is about love. You see how much love is involved there? Millions of videos speaking against the Valentine Day. Look at this face. This guy, he have a face of the devil.
يا جماعة بعد أيام قليلة جدا بإذن الله هيحصل حدث خطير جدا في عالم الشباب، حدث مهم جدا بالنسبة لكتير جدا من الشباب، مهم قد يكون أهم من ماتش الأهلي اللي كان موجود الليلة والناس متابعاه في كل الأماكن. حدث عيد الفالنتاين العالمي، عيد الحب العالمي. بعد أيام يا جماعة الدنيا كلها تحمر، الكرة الأرضية هتحمر، هنبقى أحمر كوكب في العالم كله وفي الكون كله. بعد أيام كل حاجة لونها أحمر هتغلى، الدباديب الحمراء هتغلى، الشمع الأحمر هيغلى، الأقلام الحمراء بعد ايام فيروس خطير جدا هيكتسح جسد الامه. فيروس ايه؟ فيروس الايدز. اخطر. الايدز اخطر من الايدز كمان، اخطر من الايبولا اللي بتسيح الجسد البشري، اخطر من الكوليرا اللي موتت نص اوروبا في لما اجتاحتها من مئات السنين. اخطر فيروس ايه؟ فيروس الفالنتاين يا جماعه. انا جاي الليله احذر كل شاب وفتاه من فيروس في غايه الخطوره، جاي يكتسح قلوب شباب الامه وجاي يدمر علاقتنا بربنا سبحانه وتعالى. فيروس الفالنتاين اللي لازم نواجهه. انت تخيل ان محمد بن عبد الله عليه الصلاه والسلام واقف قدامك واليهود والنصارى واقفين قدامك، كل ما تدخل في الفالنتين اكتر اليهود والنصارى يفرحوا.
In Christmas, another problem faces us. What do you do? Do you give presents? Do you take presents? What do you do? Are you involved? My belief in Allah, in accepting Islam, was when Christmas season came, and as a Muslim, we don't give any gifts.
الصلاة والسلام وعلى رسول الله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How's it going, brothers and sisters? It's your boy Dawa Man from the streets. Today, unfortunately, is a day that I think is one of the most filthiest, one of the most haram days in the calendar, and that is Valentine's Day. Now, I actually completely forgot that it was Valentine's Day today because obviously I don't celebrate it. Man's got to step up his game, innit? Go get some chocolates, go get some roses, a teddy bear and whatnot. I'm thinking, subhanallah, subhanallah, we are now participating in the zina, in the adultery of the kafir. I can't even say it because I just feel sick. I feel physically sick when I even think about Valentine's Day. Teddy bears, roses, chocolates, romantic cards, hearts all look. By the way, a heart doesn't look like that. Scientifically incorrect, spreading false science as well. I got this through the post box. I don't know what to make of it. I'm like, even though there's nothing haram in this chocolate, it's a halal chocolate, but the fact that it's got a Valentine's Day theme makes it haram.
Muslims, they care very much for Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is an enemy to Allah. You know, the funny thing about Islam now, regarding what this day mean for many, I mean, I don't care really. I mean, if Valentine's Day bring love to people, why not? But if it's about just you know, sex and etc., this is garbage. But everyone in life, he have his own purpose of things. There's people who buy knife to make food for their children, and there's people who buy knife to kill people with it. There's people who make love to a woman to have a family, and there's people who make love just for a lust. There is people who, you know, I mean, the same thing can be two standard, or let us say a different purpose, but it's the exact same thing. Now, the Muslims, they have tons of videos in YouTube speaking against Valentine's Day. But, you know, if we go and search, I mean, we find that Muslims, they speak too much about ethic. As an example, this is Nu'man Khan, the grandson of the Muslim Brotherhood founder. He was accused of a robe of scandals of sex, of rape. Not only sex. I mean, this is guy, he rape women. He don't, you know, but he have thousands and thousands of lecturers about ethic and Islam. Nu'man Khan, very well-known Muslim, who is preaching for Allah every day, and he is very famous. Later we found that he is suffering from the same story.
You're like, oh, we're never doing this again. Oh, this was hard. You're like, oh, we're never doing this again. Oh, this was hard.
And he speak against, you know, Valentine's Day too. So, you know, what we see in front of us, that they speak too much against Valentine, but they themselves, they are involved not only in Valentine, they are involved in sexuality just for sex.
Dust it off. Nothing. That's nothing. Don't worry about it.
They do Valentine, but in the wrong way every day. Or what about Omar Bakri? Omar Bakri, his daughter is literally a stripper. I mean, Omar Bakri, he want to kill the kuffar, he want to do jihad, he want to join ISIS, he want to kill the Christians, he want to kill the Jews. Women, they should cover themselves, and yet his daughter herself is literally stripper. So they give us lecturers about what is right and what's wrong. But then if we go and we find that those people are involved in the most harsh sexuality, which is not even about not a normal sex, not like a date, you know, it's like beyond. What about the leader of CAIR, who is he was arrested? And we are talking about big names here. Those are just not normal people like me and you. Those are leaders for Muslims, who was arrested for a child trafficking, sex trafficking. So what about Muhammad himself? Muhammad, he have sex with a child, she is 6 years old. Muhammad, he have 13 wives. So if you are against a woman to have a date with a man, let us say you are against sexuality to be open between a man and a woman, but isn't it Islam allow mut'a, which means your prophet, he allow you to take a woman for bed just for exchange of some good?
Because outside marriage is forbidden.
Yes.
So marriage is not just about sex. Because outside marriage is forbidden.
Yes.
So marriage is not just about sex. Because outside marriage is forbidden.
Yes.
So marriage is not just about sex.
So at least those people, they are not doing for money. In Islam, it's legalized to be a hooker. Imagine you have a man, he says to you that you know, Valentine's Day is haram, it's forbidden, my friend. But then we find Islam not only allow sexuality, allow you to rent a woman for 3 days 3 nights for sex, and you pay her in return some money. And if you want to increase. So this is what? This is open Valentine. Valentine is not necessarily something bad. It can be between a man and his wife. It can be between a man and a woman, but there's nothing involved sexuality. It can be, and it can be about sex too. But Islam legalize sleeping around. It is halal in Islam to rent a woman, just pay her. This by the way, this is Quran chapter 4 verse number 24. It says the mut'a. The Sunnis say to you that the Shia practice mut'a. This is a lie. The one who practiced mut'a is Muhammad and his companion, all of them, and this is in the Quran. Allah himself, he allow mut'a. So Allah, he forbid you from doing Valentine, but he allow you to do mut'a. To rent a woman in the elevator for 5 minutes, she take off her panty and then you sleep with her, and that is halal. So a man, he have a relationship with the women, and supposedly he love her, and if he sleep with her, which for us as a Christian, this is not have nothing to do with the Christianity, but let us say somebody, he does that, for you he is a big time sinner, but you do it every day. What about having foursome? So you are against Valentine, that a man, he have relationship with one woman, but you have in the bed 4 women, and you are number 5, foursome. I don't know what they call it, 5-some, what they call it. So you know how Muslims, they say we are against open sexuality when all of Islam is about sex. When in Islam you go to heaven, even your heaven is about sexuality. What you will be in heaven doing? The Quran says that you will be having sex fakihun, which means you will be enjoying all day long, busy having sex. So the hypocrisy of those who claim that Valentine, you know, Valentine is haram. I mean, this is the most hypocrite religion ever.
But let's go to the root of the tree, because if the root of the tree is rotten, then everything that it bears is rotten. Because if the root of the tree is rotten, then everything that it bears is rotten.
Chapter 36 verse number 55. You will be busy doing what exactly? Do you know what you will be doing? You will be opening, excuse my language again, between 2 brackets, vagina. Do you want me to show you the reference? Do you want me to show you the reference? So you're having all of it, nothing, there is no Valentine in your heaven, it's just sex. At least those people, maybe they are having, maybe there is a relationship, maybe they love each other, maybe they want to get married, maybe they are married, maybe. But in Islam, here we go, read with me. This is Tafsir At-Tabari. فقال بعضهم ذلك افتضاد العذارى. You will be busy opening vagina. حدثنا مسعود بن حميد قال شغلهم افتضاد العذارى. You will be busy opening the vagina of the virgins. So you are against a Valentine Day, but you will be busy opening vagina 24 hours 7 days a week for eternity. And not only that, you open the vagina and Allah he make her virgin again. So the hypocrisy of the Abdul is beyond imagination. They speak too much against Valentine, but what their religion is about? What your religion is about? Isn't it all of it is about sex? Why we have a lack of honesty in this cult? I mean, they try to present themselves as a religion, teach ethic, right? But I never saw any ethic in this religion. I will try to find you the tafsir in English, chapter 36, verse number 55. All right, let us see. Maybe we can find it in English. I doubt they will put that in English. But if you have my book anyway, 6 and Allah, you will find it. They talk too much about ethic, but they are ethically free. We are against sex, but number one country search for sex with donkeys is Pakistan. I mean, have you ever heard of this? Huh? Read with me. Here we go. We found it in English. Are you happy now? We found it in English. So we are against Valentine. And indeed, who is talking? Allah. Indeed, the inhabitants of paradise are busy. Busy doing what? Do you know what you will be busy doing? What? Read with me carefully. In a pleasure such as the flowering virgins. They are using a nice words, by the way, saying deflowering. Do you see it? This is your God. This is not Nu'man Khan. This is not Tariq Ramadan, who was accused of a raw of rape. This is not your prophet. This is not a Christian prince. This is not At-Tabari. This is not Ibn Kathir. This is your God saying you will be busy in the heaven of Allah doing nothing but bang bang boom boom.
He's running off. Why are you running away? Why is he running off? Shamsi.
So we call Dr. Zakir Naik there. We ask him, brother, can you talk to us? Zakir Naik, I told you 1,000 times, don't call me. And right now I'm very busy. Brother, what are you doing? I'm having sex with a lot of vagina. They are long. Brother, can you give us like just 2 times? I cannot. I told you I'm busy. The Quran said we will be busy having sex with the vagina all of the day. So please don't call me. I will change even my number because of you. Dr. Zakir Naik, please don't change your number. If you change your number, who's going to call you? I don't care. Just leave me alone. I'm busy right now. I am in heaven and you're in hell. Go and do your Valentine Day. So they speak too much against Valentine. But what do you have, Muslims? Where is your ethic? Do you remember, guys, the guy we asked him, are you going to have sex with your mother in heaven? Do you remember? He said yes. I mean, they talk too much about ethic. They talk too much about good and bad. But where is your good and what is your bad? Remember, my friends, Islam is a big fat lie. They speak too much about ethic. All of us, we are sinners. I'm not saying I am better than anyone. All of us, we are sinners, and we don't want hypocrisy. Men, women, they like each other for a very simple reason, because the male is a male and the female is a female. So stop being hypocrite. But Islam is religion teach lost. There is people who do commit sin, and there's God, his name is Allah. He teach you to commit sin. He drive you to commit what is even a crime, not sin, because having sex with the children is not a sin anymore. This is a crime against children. Jesus says it's better for a man to put a milestone in his neck and throw himself in the deep ocean before he hurt those little ones. It's better for you to jump in the ocean, deep in the ocean, disappear from this earth before you hurt those little ones. Your prophet, he hurt them. Islam, he hurt them. Islam hurt the children. Islam don't respect children. Islam don't let you stay as a child. Even a child is a product of sex. Islam destroyed relationship between men and women. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and 1,000 of Eves. And the women, she knew the man, and the man, he knew the women. In Islam, you go to heaven, you don't even know the women you are going to marry from. So don't fool yourself and say we have ethic. You have nothing but hypocrisy. You have no love in your life, only sexuality and lust. And yet you talk too much about ethic. I never saw all my life people speak about ethic as much as Muslims, but they are ethic free. Just give Muslim countries a freedom and you will see what will happen. Just give them freedom and you will see, and you will not imagine what will happen overnight. So let us remember one thing. People do things for a reason. Valentine can be good, can be bad, depend what you want to do in it. You can be a person who is in love and your love is a decent love, nothing wrong with that. You can celebrate Valentine every day. What's wrong with that? Love is good, hate is bad. But love should not be about sex. Sexuality is a part of us, is not something we created. It is God gift to us, so it should be used as a gift. And the gift is from God, should be used as God who wanted us to use it.
You may be familiar with the story behind Valentine's Day. Valentine denied the emperor, and he stood up for truth and for traditional marriage. And he actually secretly married young men and women. He would not deny his conscience and worship the pagan idols that the emperor was demanding. Saint Valentine, for standing up for his faith in Christ, he was arrested and he was dragged before the Roman court, who condemned him to be beaten to death with clubs and have his head cut off on this very day, February 14th, in 269 AD. As the story goes, as he was awaiting execution, he prayed for the jailer's sick daughter, who miraculously recovered. And he wrote her a note and signed it, "From your Valentine." A couple hundred years later, in 496 AD, the Pope designated February 14th as St. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is always associated with love, right? But there's a particular kind of love it's always associated with. It's always associated with romantic love. And that's fine. That's great. That's neat. But did you know, you probably did, that the actual St. Valentine wasn't necessarily associated with romantic love as much as he was associated with what this thing called agape, or self-sacrificial love. In fact, for romantic love to be more than it is, to be more than simply the love of desire, right? So eros is the kind of love we refer to as romantic love. Eros, I think, if my Greek serves me, simply doesn't mean romance, it actually means desire, right? So that's why Pope Benedict, back in the day, he could say that even God has eros for us, not because he has romantic love for us, but he has a desire for us, like he wants us. What does he want? And this is the big key. This is the key with all love. It's the key with the romantic love, and it's the key, well, it's supposed to be, and it's the key to St. Valentine's actual love. Love, by definition, at least in our circles, to define love, it's more than a feeling. Thank you very much, Journey, right? Boston. Thank you very much, Boston. The band, not the city. Love is more than a feeling. Love is a decision. What kind of decision? Love is to what? Love is to will the good of the other. That's it. That's the three parts to love. Valentine's Day kind of love, or Jesus kind of love, which is the love of the self-sacrificial love, which is actually the love of St. Valentine, that he was a Christian martyr. But before he was a Christian martyr, he was a Christian witness. This is so important. Before St. Valentine was a Christian martyr, when he gave witness to Christ with his death, he gave witness to Christ with his words, with his actions, and with his life. But there has been a study recently asking millennials, no offense any millennials, but this is a study that has been published by the Barna Group that said almost half of millennials believe that it would be wrong, sorry, let me clarify this. Half of millennial Christians believe, 47%, believe that it is wrong to share your faith with someone. What? 47% of millennial Christians believe that it is wrong to share your faith with another person. It kind of even cranks up a little bit more. Strongly agree that it's wrong to share your faith with someone in the hopes that they would become Christian. So this is fascinating because what is it when half of Christians believe it's wrong to actually share your faith? Here's what we believe about Christ. Here's what we believe about Christianity. We believe that it's true. It's not just something that's nice to believe. It's not just something that, yeah, if that makes you happy, if it makes you good, that's fine. We believe it's true. And actually, that what Jesus has done for us, he has done for everybody, even if they don't know it. Therefore, to love someone will be to will their good. And what is good for a human being? Well, it's good for them to know the truth. What is good for the people around us? It's good for them to know that they are known by God and loved by God, and that God is the kind of God who actually, at one point in human history, took on a human nature, and in that human nature, he lived and suffered and died and rose from the dead so as to redeem us and save us from our sins and give us a purpose in this life. Like, if that's true, then it is good to share that with other people.
Valentine's Day has changed a lot since its origins. It's kind of become what some call a Hallmark holiday. But we can use it to understand and use it as a day to focus on God's love for us. The Bible gives us many scriptures and passages on the topic of love. God's love for us is a perfect example and a starting place to study love. There are so many great verses about love in relation to marriage, brotherly love, friendship, and loving our neighbor. The most famous and I think well-heard verse is John 3:16. And this verse shows God's true and almighty love for us. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Romans 5:8 tells us, but God shows his love for us in that while we are still sinners, Christ died for us. In Galatians 2:20, it says, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And that life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Let us not forget the most amazing sacrifice that anyone could ever give us, his Son dying on the cross for our salvation. In John 1:3-1 it says, see what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we shall be called the children of God, and so we are. The reason why the world does not know us is that it does not know him. Let us remember this Valentine's Day to show love not only to our significant other, but to our God and to our friends in brotherly love, as it says in 1 Peter 1:22, having purified your souls by your obedience to the truth for a sincere brotherly love, love one another earnestly from a pure heart.